Right now at noon, an officer-involved shooting closes down a major street in Joplin this morning. We'll have the full story of what went down.
And we've got ourselves that warm and windy day out there. The only difference is there's a lot more cloud cover. We're going to take a look at your forecast coming up.
Plus, with the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, there's a flurry of bets being placed on their performance. We'll hear how the big game is generating big business for local casinos.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us on KOAM News at Noon. I'm Caitlin O'Shaughnessy. In today's top story, the Joplin Police Department is investigating following an officer-involved shooting on Friday morning. According to JPD, at about 8:30 a.m., an officer responded to a suspicious person call near 7th and Sargent. During the incident, an officer fired his gun, hitting the subject. According to JPD, aid was immediately given to the subject. He was taken to a local hospital for treatment of what's believed to be a non-life-threatening gunshot injury. Captain Will Davis told KOAM's Shannon Becker live on the scene that they requested the Missouri State Highway Patrol to assist in investigation as an outside, uninvolved agency. The officer was not injured as JPD protocol. The officer has been placed on leave immediately as the investigation begins. Westbound 7th traffic was halted from Moffett Ave to Sargent Ave as yellow crime scene tape surrounded about a half a block area along the sidewalk. At about 10:30 a.m., the westbound lanes were reopened to all traffic, and we will keep you updated as further details will be released as the investigation ensues. And a Neosho, Missouri man dies in a motorcycle crash. It happened around 4:25 yesterday afternoon on Highway 86, just south of Reddings Mill, Missouri. Authorities say 69-year-old Jay Gardner of Neosho was riding his motorcycle on the S-curves just north of the original Candy House location. The cycle struck a sign and utility pole, throwing him from the trike. Gardner suffered fatal injuries in the crash and was pronounced dead on the scene. He was not wearing a helmet. And Fort Scott Community College is having money problems, and now it's affecting hiring and scholarships. KOAM Amber Jenkins learns more.
After calculating the expenditures from the previous fiscal year, Fort Scott Community College administration realized that the college was $1 million in debt.
Our purchasing policy as it relates to going and getting the prior approvals and making sure that that we follow the actual processes that are in place. And so really, you know, we have decided that we're going to cut back on our use of credit cards.
The president, Jason Kegler, says college officials discovered the issue in December. He blames credit card spending and not sticking to the purchasing approval policy caused the problem.
We've pulled back the ability for people to use college credit cards because and we've asked them to start actually utilizing the PO system, and so we're confident. You know, there was some concerns early on about how that would look, but I think all of our employees, our faculty and staff, they've adjusted.
To combat the deficit, a freeze on spending and hiring is in place.
Our focus has been not hiring new folks in positions that are non-essential. You know, if we need a biology instructor, we're going to go out and get a biology instructor. But you know, some of our other positions, if we can do without those for a short run, then we'll do that.
Kegler says their focus is to keep student life normal while correcting the $1 million deficit. As of now, activities, events, and campus upkeep are unchanged.
With the college's foundation endowment association, we do have a substantial gift that's going to minimize that number to keep us in fully functional and fully operational.
Reporting in Fort Scott, Amber Jenkins, KOAM News.
President Kegler says there's no suspicion of criminal wrongdoing. Fort Scott Community College plans to hold a community discussion on February 21st at 5:30 p.m. about the deficit and how they're going to overcome it.
And we've had ourselves a cloudy, warm, and windy day. The Skywatch Storm Tracker showing plentiful cloud cover across most of the area. Our far northern counties probably getting a little more daylight, and even out in parts of southeastern Kansas where there are clouds showing up. It looks like they're a little thinner in some locations, but not quite everywhere. Winter storm watches out into western Oklahoma, panhandles of Texas and Oklahoma, and into northeastern New Mexico down there, associated with the next system that's going to bring us our opportunity for some rain this weekend, and unfortunately, some potential snow chances as well. Outside right now, MoDOT camera 32nd and range line in Joplin. It is quite cloudy, leading it to be a little bit on the darker side today. Same from our camera on top of the Cornell Complex downtown Joplin. Still quite gusty winds out there. We mentioned that was going to be a thing again today, and thankfully they're not as strong as they were yesterday. Take a look at this. We started yesterday at 52 degrees. We should have been at 27. We made it up to 70 when we should have been up to 48. Just 3 degrees shy of a record set back in 1999. Temperatures around the region still warming decently. We've got that southwesterly breeze ushering in warm air, and so we've got low 60s and upper 50s across the area for now. But as I mentioned, things are going to change, and that change starts tonight into the weekend with some snow chances again, as I mentioned, as we go from Sunday into Monday. We're going to take a look at all of that in those systems here in the full forecast in just a few more minutes. Caitlin?
All right, Chris, looking forward to that. Well, with the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, there's a flurry of bets being placed on their performance. We'll hear how the big game is generating big business for a Kansas casino.
You can feel the excitement. The guests are coming in, placing their bets. Just a lot of fun. It's a good vibe.
Kansas Star Casino VP and General Manager Allie Copeland says the 2 weeks leading up to the Super Bowl is one of their busiest times of the year.
The playoffs are always big for us at Kansas Star.
And they're even bigger because of the Chiefs.
This year has been no exception, with the Chiefs going deeper and deeper into the playoffs.
With the Chiefs in the Super Bowl again, she says a lot of people are placing bets on them.
Our guests are very, very, very excited for the Chiefs to play. A lot of bets, a lot of prop bets.
During the Super Bowl, there are a lot more things to bet on than just your traditional spreads and over-unders. There are also dozens of prop bets, like will the game end on a quarterback kneel, or which team will run the most offensive plays. While you can certainly get your bets in now, Allie says there will be a huge crowd of bettors on Super Bowl Sunday.
Super Bowl Sunday will be packed. It will be standing room only. All the way out into the casino floor.
And if you or someone you know has a gambling problem, there are always resources available.
Anyone who thinks they have a betting problem, they can certainly approach any staff in FanDuel or anyone on the casino floor, and we can get you those resources.
And that's a look at today's top stories and weather in the 4 states region. Up next on KOAM News at Noon. We uncovered the meticulous craftsmanship that goes into creating the iconic pigskins destined for this year's Super Bowl. And later, we're making beer-soaked buffalo wings in the Mr. Food Test kitchen. Stay tuned. The balls for the big game have already been made, last Wednesday to be exact, but have you ever wondered what it takes to get the pigskin to the players? We get a behind-the-scenes look at how the Super Bowl footballs are made, and it's one super task.
She's no running back, but her needles certainly run fast. Here at this booth are workers from the Wilson Football Company in Ohio. Wilson Football has been on the field for every Super Bowl.
We got 102 of us back at the factory doing this same work every day.
Made all by hand. There are 25 steps to get the pigskin to the players. We ran through the important steps to make our own ball. First, sewing. More than 250 stitches. Next, throw it in the steam box to soften the leather. Then, the turning.
And we gotta turn it right side out.
Now this step takes some strength.
Pull that over. Left hand right here, right hand right here.
Then,
you have to keep your laces straight.
Lacing. The ball goes to Pam with her tape-wrapped fingers ready to lace. 16 holes.
And make it tight.
She's worked for Wilson for 30 years, and boy, is she fast. It only takes her about 2 minutes.
And how do you feel when you watch the Super Bowl knowing, okay, I had a hand in that ball?
It's kind of exciting.
Then the ball heads to the final step. Molding.
We're putting air in there to push the seams out. That mold is made to the NFL size.
After a minute and a half, there you have it.
Here's our football. Give it a quick brush.
Fast, efficient, and precise super work.
So there you go.
For a Super Bowl ball.
Folks, they work hard, that craftsmanship, and we all have that passion and pride.
The Wilson Company makes about 2,500 footballs daily. Typically, 120 balls, including kicker footballs, are used during the Super Bowl games. Each team playing gets 108 game balls for Wilson. 54 for practice and 54 for the game. Still to come on KOAM News at Noon, we see what's cooking with Mr. Food.
Looking to score big this weekend? If so, we've got a twist on wings that promises to be a winner. It promises.
But first, we are tracking some colder temperatures and snow chances out there. We're going to have another look at your forecast right after this. Welcome back to the KOAM News at Noon. So we've had ourselves a cloudy, windy, warm day once again out there. We've got that possibility of a stray pop-up shower here or there, but in all honesty, I think most of us are going to remain dry. But again, don't be surprised if you get a couple of sprinkles on you while you're out and about today. But on camera 32nd and range line showing those cloudy, dreary looking skies out there. And our camera on the Cornell complex giving a great example of the wind as it's whipping those flags on top of City Hall. Another view of the cloud cover out there. But it's still mild out there for this time of year. Our camera 7th and range line, clouds continue again to kind of roll in through the area, so we do have some clear skies out there to the north for now. 61 in Joplin, south breeze at 18, gusting upwards of 24, and we can still see occasional gusts upwards of around 30 miles an hour. Temperatures faring pretty well out there right now, looking halfway decent. We've got mid-upper 50s, we've even got the low 60s, so again, for this time of year, as we showed you where our averages should be, not bad. As we head later into the evening, believe it or not, the winds will let up at least momentarily, and then we'll see those gusts return also momentarily heading into the first part of our Saturday, and by about noon, we get another brief reprieve from those gusty winds before they return again heading into Sunday morning and Sunday afternoon across the area. As for the rest of today, aside from the cloudy skies and maybe a stray sprinkle or two, you can see the future track not really picking up on much else, but then you see those wind arrows shift. We get a little front passing through. It's a weak front, but it passes through, and those winds shift, and take a look at our temperatures as they begin to fall as we head into our Saturday. We do hold on to the cloudy skies, though. 70 today, where we're still looking to make, and maybe a pop-up shower, but not much expected out there. Southwest breeze 10 to 20, gusting upwards of 30. As we head into tonight, once that front passes through, we fall back into the upper 30s. So as mentioned too, this is still about 10 degrees above normal, but it is much colder than what we've dealt with the last few nights. Still mostly cloudy and still those occasional gusts to 20. And same for us as we head into our Saturday. Mostly cloudy, cooler, but above average into the low 50s out there. And that northeast wind, 10 to 15, gusting upwards of 20. Now I want to take a moment and talk about the snow chances. There's a lot up in the air on this. If we were to throw out some snow accumulation totals, shoot, if we threw them out yesterday, I mean, it'd be snowmageddon. People would be freaking out. There's going to be a lot of changes between now and Sunday, and meteorologist Lindsay Gaffney will be here through the weekend, and she'll keep you updated on the latest. But here's what we're looking at in terms of timing. That's at least been consistent. Late Sunday evening, we get some rain showers, and temperatures begin to fall overnight, and we start to see that transition into a rain-snow mix, and then just straight snow. And you can see where the main concentration of snow is. That has also been relatively consistent, but you guys know weather, it can change in a moment's notice, but right here along and south of the I-44 corridor, and that's going to last until about noon, 1 o'clock on Monday before that eventually clears on out of here. So at this point, what I'll say is we're looking at maybe 2 to 4 inches of snow, but keep in mind, we've been pretty warm leading up to that. It's going to rain before that, it's going to rain after that, so we're not anticipating anything major, and we're not expecting it to last very long. So as we head into next week, 40s, colder, but that's the other half of why it won't last too long. Look at those temperatures by the middle of next week, back into the mid-60s out there, ahead of some additional rain chances next Friday and Saturday, and another little bit of a cool down, but that gets us close to normal again by next weekend. So we'll keep an eye on the snow for you all. Just keep it right here. We'll keep you updated.
All right, you better, Chris. Well, stick around because we're making beer-soaked buffalo wings in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. We'll be right back. It's time to check in with Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. Whether you're cheering for Taylor Swift's boyfriend's team or the other team, you'll score big this Super Bowl Sunday by baking out these beer-soaked buffalo wings. Take a look.
When it comes to deciding what to serve or bring to someone's house for the big game, there are certain must-haves. So let me share with you a must-have where we've added a twist that is very welcome. It's buffalo wings, but not just any buffalo wings. Ours are marinated in beer. So what does beer do? First, the acid in it adds a subtle depth to the overall flavor. On top of that, the yeast acts as a natural tenderizer, which makes our wings practically melt in our mouth. And like that isn't enough, the malt in the beer adds a touch of sweetness. After these marinate, we drain them before seasoning with some garlic powder and a little salt and pepper. Then into the oven they go. Once they're crispy, we coat them with a combo of cayenne pepper sauce, melted butter, and a splash of beer. So this year, while everyone's chowing down on these and can't quite put their finger on why these are the best wings they've ever tasted, it's up to you if you want to reveal our secret ingredient. To get the recipe for our beer-soaked buffalo wings, along with lots of other game day favorites, check out our website. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found an all-star winning way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
To find this recipe, along with many others, just head over to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com and click on Mr. Food. Now here's a look at the 4-state market prices.
All right, so warm, breezy, cloudy today, maybe a stray shower or two. Much cooler heading into the weekend. Rain chances Sunday evening into Monday could translate into a bit of snow along the I-44 corridor, something we'll keep an eye on for you. And then we'll warm back up by midweek, back into the 60s Wednesday and Thursday.
And coming up tonight at 5, as much as the game or the halftime show, Super Bowl Sunday is all about the food. But when some snacks sit out for a long time, they can become a safety hazard. We'll hear from an expert about what to do, whether you're hosting or just chowing down. Plus, City of Frontenac is turning the page of imagination with a new library. In Carthage, 6th graders are pitching ideas at a Shark Tank event for clients with cerebral palsy. Join us for those stories and more on KOAM News at 5.
You know, and I don't think a lot of people think about that. When you leave the salsa and the nacho cheese dip and a bunch of other things out, you don't think about it.
Yeah.
That it's going to go bad because you're like, oh, it's just a few hours. But sometimes some foods, all it takes is just a few hours.
Don't get sick.
No,
Not
you
like
don't
that.
want to. You don't want to celebrate the Super Bowl that way.
Right? And stay safe this Super Bowl Sunday. It's definitely going to be a great game. We want you to have fun, but please be safe. Do not drink and drive.
Absolutely. Well, thank you all so much for joining us for the KOAM News at Noon.
Have a great weekend and go Chiefs.